So I'm listening to you and I have all these things happening inside of me and I keep thinking, you don't have what I have. These feelings are like a fucking volcano right now for me.
I enjoy inflicting pain on people. I'm a sadistic narcissist. So very often I would externalize my internal aggression in order to kind of enjoy the effects on people.
People are good and they don't deserve to be hurt. They don't deserve to be treated that way. And that you see vulnerability and you pounce on it like a fucking lion on a gazelle is wrong.
The person with MPD, the root of their MPD is a highly traumatic, highly painful environment, usually childhood. And it usually forms between two polarities where the child is being overtly abused and neglected and then also being spoiled in some way that is also boundaryless. So you might have an abusive father and then an apologetic, guilt-ridden mother. The father abuses and then the mother overcompensates for the child. Is that child then going to spend the rest of their life experiencing huge amounts of anxiety and depression? Yes.
I have the most extreme form of narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder, where there is a total disruption there's total emotional dysregulation. Emotions are inaccessible, perhaps because they are threatening, but they're inaccessible, that's a fact, and so on. So I don't emote. I have no emotions whatsoever, except a few negative emotions, such as anger or envy, or to some extent hatred.
When I started realizing all this mess was about 2 years ago when I started having problems with my husband, and I just didn't quite understand why. I've been trying to do everything I've been taught. Why it's not working? We went to a therapist in the hopes of making our relationship better, and I had to push for that. She mentioned to me, your husband is a narcissist and you're a codependent. And I was like, what? Well, what is that? Well, narcissist is all about themselves. Like, yeah, and I've never heard codependency before, that word. And so I went online. So I put on the search engine codependency because she mentioned that I was a codependent. And then I found out about codependency, and later I started finding out about narcissism.
I'm a narcissist, so my main motivation is what is called narcissistic supply. Essentially attention. Narcissistic supply is a fancy name for attention. I'm also getting money, but that's a secondary consideration. Narcissistic supply, attention, is what I use to regulate my sense of self-worth. You see, my sense of self-worth, as opposed to normal people or healthy people, fluctuates constantly. It's labile. It goes up and down. And when it's down, it's very down. And so I need to regulate it. I need to stabilize it by having people telling me that I am as fantastic, as grandiose, as omniscient, as omnipotent, as brilliant and as perfect as I imagine myself to be.
Or do you think that people have to compliment you because you do feel that you're superior, actually?
I believe that you believe that.
Yeah, so you...
I believe that you believe that.
Okay.
However, it's completely irrelevant to me what you believe.
Okay, yeah.
They are addicted to attention, adulation, adoration. You have to look up to them, and you do, because they're really wonderful. They're really wonderful in the beginning, and so you're just like blown away. This is the best man I've ever known, and then they become your worst nightmare. So what you're doing is you're giving them what they need. They give you what you want, which is this like Cinderella dream thing, and then what's happening is they make you addicted to like this love bombing thing, and then then the mask falls because they feel, oh, I got her. I can chill now. I can relax. I can be myself. And what they call that is the mask. Now the mask starts to fall and you start to see these cracks and they'll slip up and, oh, I don't want to go with your family to dinner. Who wants to meet your family? Oh, your friend's an asshole. They start to criticize things in your life that are important to you because they feel threatened by it, because they have to overpower you and control everything that's important to you. So once you start to, all of a sudden you're criticizing, they take it as a criticism if you counter anything they say.
It's a bad idea doing anything to a narcissist that threatens their hyper-idealized self-image, because they will punish you very severely. You can be punished by a narcissist simply for existing without needing them. They can find that threatening. You can be punished by a narcissist simply for saying politely, no, I don't wish to do that. It's an extremely cruel internal world in which they live, which is why that cruelty is mirrored outward to their victims.
My then boyfriend had tried to kill me more than once. But I didn't understand that this was all a game. And I didn't understand it was a really dangerous game.
By force or by guile, you will play this game with me, or I will destroy you and kick you out of my little world.
I had ran to my car, and he jumped my car, and he came in, and I don't know why I let him get in the driver's side. And we started to drive towards the Brooklyn Bridge, and he told me he was going to run us off the bridge and kill us. And so that was the first time I had ever begged for my life.
It's a haunted house. The narcissist personality is a haunted house. So you need Ghostbusters, not therapists.
In order for me to live a life where I'm abusing people without ever being wrong, without ever being, how is that? You have to have a truly insane psychotic level of a break with reality, and you're constantly ducking and diving like ninjas, like psychological ninjas, trying to dodge the laser beams of responsibility, where somebody would say, that doesn't even make sense. How could you be, if the person was a perfect idealized version on Monday, how could they be devalued on Friday? That means you were wrong. Well, I'm never wrong.
So for me, I'm a sucker for love, like more like a love addict. And then it becomes a toxic love, because once they're done love bombing you, they're secure in you and they know that they have you. That's when it turns around and they begin to abuse you, take advantage, hurt you, verbally assault you, rage on you, cheat on you, do all kinds of things to destroy you. And by then you've become addicted to this golden period and hoping to get it back. What have I done? How can I get that love back? That's not real love. Real love doesn't just, treat you like crap after they've treated you well. It passes time. And with a narcissist, it's not like that.
The NPD goes through a sense of shame and failure that they didn't manage to maintain that source of supply because they were left. They will go through rage, narcissistic rage, that person had the temerity to leave them. Somewhere in there, I'm pretty sure there will be just plain old, boring, standard, communal garden to the narcissist. This is all incredibly insulting. Sadness. The sadness of a mere mortal who simply misses their mate. That leaks through will be countered in the narcissist's self by huge amounts of rage and huge amounts of self-loathing. How dare they make me feel sadness? How dare they make me feel human emotion? And so their rage for the victim will become even stronger. Their shame and their determination to never let this happen again will become stronger. They will actually become more abusive through the experience. Whereas a neurotypical person, when we grieve, when we feel sadness, you can become more humble, you can become more open, you can become more compassionate to other people. Not so for the NPD.
I would map the person, and then if I'm so inclined to inflict pain, then I would push highly specific buttons, penetrate through highly specific chinks, through highly specific routes, reach the core, and inflict usually pretty substantial damage.
I feel that she's tried a lot of techniques to sort of push my buttons to make me panic. See if I can, trying to create a situation where she can make me react and confuse me and then maybe draw me back in, something. And I think she's tried a lot of things. She's used finance, she used where we're staying, all these things. And now the children are coming into the situation. I can feel it. I think she could do something with the children, and I don't know how far she can go, but I wouldn't be surprised. You know, if she did something totally crazy.
Had I grown up in a functioning family with functional parents and so on and so forth, I think I would have been a delightful kid and happy adult. I operate at 10% of my capacity because I have to dedicate 90% to futile pursuits, such as obtaining supply, such as coping with my rage, such as regulating my sense of self-worth, my ups and downs, such as coping with my mood disorders, with my lability. It's depleting to be me. It's depleting. It's energy consuming. And there's nothing left there for creativity, for happiness, for interrelatedness, for having a good time. Nothing is left there for this.
When I met my husband, he was a sex toy designer, of all things, right? So I met a person that, oh wow, it's super open with sexuality, it wants to be intimate. And when he moved with me, a couple months before moving in with me, he started rejecting me sexually from one day to another. And I just, that was his point of control, because he knew that that was my trauma. My trauma was having been with a previous man who rejected me sexually too. And that takes a hit in your self-esteem.
A regular person who doesn't have all these issues with intimacy, they can just hold you. But anytime it's with a narcissist, there's a physical distance. It becomes a power trip. And the closeness scares them so bad that they'll do anything to get away from you after. It is such an awkward feeling to be a woman or a man and feel like this rejection after. All that matters is that you tell them that they're good lovers.
Anything that happens to you is utterly, and I want you to understand, I'm using the word utterly judiciously, utterly alien to me. Utterly. I have no more mentally in common with you than I have with a, let's say, long-necked giraffe. Nothing more.
They have an internal judge, we call it an inner critic, or psychiatrists call it superego, that is saying, are you doing a good job of garnering narcissistic supply and maintaining the godlike false image, or are you failing? And they're either succeeding and appeasing the angry god, or they're failing, and it makes them feel absolutely worthless. Their anxiety is, I don't think it's too much to say, is purely abandonment anxiety. Their depression is purely narcissistic depletion.
What I call love is combination of actually fear of abandonment and fear of losing supply and disintegration, coupled with kind of gratitude to the source for maintaining me.
As the red flags of narcissistic abuse are something you feel rather than see.
Gratitude also.
The interaction with the person will lead to a sense of anxiety, a sense of potential danger, even though you can't see the danger, and a kind of self-doubt where you're going, this seems to be this way, but they're saying this, but it makes me feel different to what they're saying. So they could be telling you something nice and paying you a compliment, but somehow you feel threatened. They could be saying that they're doing something for you, making a sacrifice for you, and yet you feel ripped off, you feel conned. So if you outright take revenge on them and deliberately make an effort to take revenge on them, they will make a project of you. They will make a project of punishing you.
I have no home because he promised me to, baby, don't get a home because you're going to be getting one with me, so you don't have to. So when I fly back from this trip to London, I'm going home to no home. He ruined my life.
If one were to decide to take revenge on a narcissist, to be so foolish, what one would need to do would be to shift from the prey mindset to the predator mindset. This is an alien way of thinking to the codependent. Totally alien.
If you seek revenge, dig two graves. Okay, and that's very true. Yeah.
The only thing you can have with prolonged contact with a narcissist is insanity. You will go insane. If you do it for years on end, you will become as sick in a different way as the NPD personality. You will have a complete traumatic break with reality.
I would really want to rip him physically apart little by little. And maybe that's because that's what it feels like that he had been doing. Like skinning. And layer and layer you know?
I always say that for you to be a decent human being in Nazi Germany would have required you to have therapy. It was a psychopathic society. And that would have meant that being decent is a maladaptation. You know, you were sick. If you were decent, something was wrong with you.
Well, I'm redundant to a narcissist. They don't need me. We could sit here and inside of 5 minutes come up with multiple ways of exploiting vulnerable people if we chose to. If we were sick and psychopathic, we could do that. We don't need to sit through a 2-day seminar to do that. The only people who need to sit through a 2-day seminar are those who are looking to heal, because that's difficult. Abusing people is extremely easy.
I think all in all, we are a very bad mistake, catastrophic and critical mutation, which is frankly overtaking the gene pool, the White House and other places.
You should seek to have as little contact with them as possible. And I mean little, literally, you know, whatever communication you have with them, if you send them a text, less words is better. If you have to speak to them, less words is better. If it's a phone call, make it a shorter phone call. And I'm not being facetious or pedantic. Any and all communication and any and all information you give is ammunition, and it will all be used or could be used against you at a later date. Diminish contact as rapidly and as fully as you possibly can.
My 36 years, I have to cut them and start from zero, basically. But now with all this and with the knowledge that I have, I think it puts me in a place where I know now.
I need to come out of the situation. And like I said, the only thing holding me back is how do I do that carefully, causing less stress, you know, for the children, and then how do I maintain a good relationship with them?
I'm in denial. I can't have the good without the bad, and I just need to heal and recover, and then eventually I have faith that God will send me a normal person, healthy, I hope.
But I help people to diagnose what narcissistic abuse is, its effects, help them to heal from it, so they walk away from the subject. I don't want them on forums in 10 years' time obsessing over MPD. I want them to go and live their lives and move on.